it's been a year. It was a year ago this week that coronavirus, COVID-19, was declared a global pandemic. At the time, this weekend, last year, the government announced that schools were going to be closed, we were going into lockdown, and because we were going into March break, we just thought, okay, well, it's an extra 2 weeks of March break, and I sort of thought it would all blow over, and it didn't. And schools remained closed for the rest of the term, even though stores and other things open up here and there. But COVID hasn't gone anywhere, unfortunately. Now in September, when the schools opened up, you could send your child to school, but I opted to keep Michelle home. So we've been staying home for a year now, and it's hard. It's a long time. And Michelle's a very social person. She misses her friends. Thankfully, she's a very resilient, strong little girl, and she's adapted. She's happy to have me with her all the time. She is independent now. She entertains herself. She loves drawing. She reads. She plays games. So we've both had to adapt because, in the before time, I would take her to school and I would go for a run and I'd do my work and I'd run errands, and now we're just home all the time, and I'm ordering things online and trying not to order so much online, and just adapting, because now the only time we go out literally is every 2 weeks we go out for groceries. Other than that, we are staying home. We're avoiding people because COVID-19 has not gone anywhere. In fact, it's mutating, it's evolving. There are several variants of concern now. The B117 variant, the UK or Kent variant that started in the UK, it's spread around the world. It's in the US, it's in Canada, it's getting worse. The problem with the variants is that the virus is finding ways to fight our immune system. It's getting better at doing it. So even though they have vaccines now, the vaccines don't necessarily work on the variants. They might cut down the severity of the illness. Like if you get COVID, you may not die from it. It's not going to stop you from getting it. And some of these variants are so contagious. They're way more transmissible and more deadly. The Brazil variant that has really hit them hard in the city of Manaus. It just was so widespread. P1 is so incredibly contagious. Like you can get it in 1 second. And poor Brazil, like they're number 2 now in the world for the highest cases of COVID. US is still number 1, but at least with Biden at the helm, he's getting more people vaccinated. He's doing the right things. He's spreading the right information instead of his predecessor, who shall remain unnamed because I refuse to say his name this year. He's gone. He's relevant. But his predecessor was spreading misinformation and lies, frankly, and so many people got sick. But yeah, so COVID-19 has not gone anywhere. Like some people are getting complacent. They call it COVID fatigue or COVID brain, that people are taking chances. They're not worrying anymore. They're sick of taking the precautions, but you can't, especially with the variants out there. So there's the UK one, the Brazil one, there's a South African one, B1351, something like that. But even within those mutations, like I've heard there are 4,000 different mutations in just the B117. Like it's scary because the virus is getting stronger. It's more contagious. It's more deadly. And some of them, was it the South African one or the Brazilian one, that it doesn't even discriminate, like it's hitting the young as well as the elderly. Like it used to be COVID was mostly affected the elderly, but not young people. But now some of the variants, that's not the case. It can affect anyone. So you have to be careful. And then there are people who, they're rushing out to get a vaccine. And while the vaccines are great, to reduce the risk of the severity of illness and the regular COVID-19, they do not necessarily protect against the variants. And the vaccine doesn't give you instant immunity. Like it doesn't mean, okay, I got my shot, now I can go out and do it. No, it takes weeks for it to even start to work in your body, and you don't even know how it's going to work exactly. You still have to wear a mask. You still have to take precautions. And I've heard there have been a lot of serious side effects with the vaccines. I don't want to discourage people from using them. And please, I am not an expert by any means. I think that you need to inform yourself. with anything, there are risks and benefits. You have to decide whether the benefits outweigh the risks. Thousands of people have died after getting the vaccine. The drug companies do not want you to be afraid to take it because this is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I mean, health experts will say, well, for most people, the risks are minimal. But there are those cases, right? I mean, cases of anaphylaxis. If you're still there in the clinic, they can get you some help, but there have been more serious side effects. I've heard of blood clots from the AstraZeneca vaccine in Denmark, that they're discontinuing the use of it. I heard of a doctor somewhere, and he was completely healthy, had no health issues. He got the vaccine and he died of a rare condition where the body starts fighting off the red blood cells or something, because the vaccine, it doesn't give you COVID. It's like it's teaching your body how to develop antibodies if the SARS-CoV-2 virus that creates COVID, if it enters your body. It's like teaching your body to fight it off. But what if your individual chemical reaction is different than the norm, like this poor doctor? And what if all of a sudden your body just goes crazy and starts like fighting off healthy cells? So there are just so many things that can go wrong, and the vaccines have not been tested very long. Like, they were so quick to get them out there, which I understand because a lot of people need the help. And I mean, if it's saving lives, then of course you got to think of the greater good. But also, I feel like they're downplaying how many people have actually had very adverse reactions to the vaccine. And you know, you've got to really do your research and think about what is the greater risk here. For me, I am not rushing out to get the vaccine. Of course, I'm going to be way down there on the list because I'm not a high risk. I'm not elderly. I don't have health issues. So I don't know when my doctor will be calling to say it's your turn. It probably not for a while, but I'm in no hurry because to me, they haven't been tested long enough. There are a lot of side effects that worry me, and I'm staying home. So to me, I'm more safe than, waiting in line to get a vaccine that may or may not work, especially with the variants. I'd rather stay home and just stay the heck away from people, which we've been doing for so long now. Like, I literally only go out every 2 weeks to get my groceries, and that's pretty much it. Like, I tend to err on the side of caution, so I am just trying to avoid any opportunity of risk. But everybody's different, right? Like, some people aren't worrying at all. Like, some people are still sending their kids to school. Now, some people don't have a choice, and I feel bad for them because some people still have to go out to work. They're in an industry where, they're essential and they need to go out. They can't work from home, and the kids have to go to school. Like, I get that, and I feel bad for them. But you can still, like, train your kids, keep the mask on, like stay away from people. You can try to at least instruct them to be careful. But some people really, they aren't worrying at all. Like, they let the kids have play dates. They're acting like there's no pandemic. And it's like, I heard someone say, well, I don't want them to miss out. You don't want them to miss out on a pandemic? Like, I want Michelle to miss out on this. Like, I don't want her to catch anything. I don't want her to spread anything to me, or God forbid my parents, even though we're not visiting my mom right now. But, like, I'm trying to protect Michelle and I and my family, and by extension, the community. Like, I'm doing my part, but some people, they just don't worry. I mean, there are videos out there of people going into stores, no mask, and fighting with the staff and being obnoxious. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, even if, you're not very careful about your own health, you have a social responsibility to at least, be cognizant of other people and don't put them in harm's way. But some people are still inexplicably denying that there's a pandemic. Like, they, literally still don't believe COVID is a thing, or it's made up. I don't know what they think. It's insanity. But then again, there are people that still think the earth is flat. So I just avoid those. Like, you cannot reason with them. Just, no, keep them like 50, 100 feet away from me. Like, no, thank you. So we stay home, and we're doing the best we can. We're exhausted. And frankly, this would have been March break, the week that we're going into. And March break was canceled. courtesy of Ford and Lecce, who decided, although I'm sure they're still taking their spring break, but they decided no, because they think it's too much of a risk, because people will go away, they'll go on vacation, and they'll catch things, and they'll spread things, and they'll see their family, whatever. Michelle and I would not be going anywhere. We'd be staying home and staying safe. And frankly, we need a break. Like, she needs a break from her schoolwork. I need a break from worrying about her doing her work and getting it handed in. And like, that's an extra strain on me on top of my own work and all that I'm going through. It's like, we could have used that break, and now we have to wait till April. So they didn't cancel it. They postponed it till April. So now it's not a March break, it's an April break. Well, that's a long time to wait, because it's been a long, from September to March, of her being at home like 24/7. I'm a single mom. Like, there's no me time. There's no break ever. Like, used to be, she went to school, at least I had a couple of hours to myself. No. But she has, I mean, that being said, she's been great, and she is getting more used to doing things independently and not depending on me so much for help. Because, yeah, but we could have used a break. So I'm a little bitter that they canceled or postponed March break. But yeah, I still can't get over the fact it's been a year now. But I'm still being careful, and please, like, continue to wear your masks, continue to social distance. I know it's been a long time and it's frustrating and everyone's tired of it, but COVID has not gone away. In fact, it's gotten worse with the new variants. Like, you have to be that much more careful, because you don't know that it's even regular COVID. It could be B117, it could be P1, it could be, what's the South African one called? I can't remember. What was it called? 501V2 or B1351. Yeah, that's what I've heard it called. But these mutations are scary, because they're finding new ways to fight our body's immune system and our antibodies, and the vaccines may not work against them. So just be careful, stay as safe as you can. Again, I will always try to do what I believe is right, even if it's not the easy decision and it's not a popular decision. Like, I remember when I was younger and everyone else, like, I didn't do the stuff that the cool kids did. Like, I never got into smoking. I didn't drink. I didn't try drugs. Like, it's just, I can't do something that I don't feel comfortable doing just because everyone else is doing it. Like, my mom used to say, you know, if everyone jumped off a cliff, would you? No, but I know people that literally would. Like, the fear of missing out. Oh, I don't want them to miss out on fun. I don't want them to, like, I want Michelle to miss out on a pandemic. Yes, it's unfortunate that she's missing out on seeing friends and going to school, but I have to look at the risks and the benefits. And to me, she's far better off at home. She's healthy, and she's still my happy, resilient girl, and she still has fun, and we do silly things together, and we play together. And I love her more than anything. I cannot put her in harm's way. I couldn't live with myself. So everyone has to make their own decisions for themselves. But when I hear people say, oh, you know, kids have to be in school, they have to be in school, like Ford and Lecce, they're on this thing, like, and they want to downplay that kids can catch COVID and spread it. And it's like, I don't know how long it took them to finally admit that that was even a possibility. And now they're just finally acknowledging that there are asymptomatic carriers, which, I don't know, I've known since last year, that even if they don't have symptoms, they can be carrying it. And children, even if they don't get sick with it, they can pass it on to mom, dad, grandma, community. Like, I mean, and it's everywhere. And now I even heard the Amazon warehouse in Brampton, like, they've got a huge outbreak. They're closing down. So, I mean, I'm probably not going to order anything from Amazon for a couple of weeks, because I'd be worried about it. But anyway, just be safe. You don't have to be as cautious as me. Probably most people would not. But to me, if there's a spectrum of being completely negligent and careless and being overly cautious, I'm more comfortable being overly cautious. So it has been hard. Like, this year has been hard, and I'm very isolated. But it's the price I pay to keep us safe, you know? Like, in the before time, we used to go places on the weekends. We'd go to the Butterfly Conservatory and do fun things, and we don't go anywhere now. But we're home. We're safe. So take care. Stay safe.